Hello and welcome to TableTalk Friday, your weekly dose of D&D banter between three men in a bedroom. If you like their style, make sure to follow them on whichever podcast service you prefer. And come back every Friday for another upload. Now, back to the boys.
Oh, okay. Something totally random, has nothing to do with D&D. I walked outside yesterday to get the mail, right? So, it's 9 p.m. I just got off work a little bit ago.
I just checked my calendar to make sure it wasn't Sunday.
It
wasn't. You would have been a sinner.
Huh. Well, on a different day, other than Sunday, I went out to get the mail. So I walk outside, and it's dark, of course, because it's late. And I start walking down the stairs, and as I do, I hear some sort of noise off to my left. It was more like me sensing that something was there. So I turn to my left, and I see a book flying from the upper balcony. Just drop it, and it drops into the grass below. I'm like, what the hell was that? And I looked up, there's no door from where this book came from. It was literally just a balcony. I look up, there's no one up there, right? So I walk over, and it's just that Dr. Seuss book, the one fish, catfish, two fish,
One fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish?
Yeah.
One fish,
it was sitting there.
What?
And I was like, what the hell is this? So I was like, whatever, that's weird. So I go get the mail. I come back 2 minutes later, it's gone.
So, there wasn't a window or something?
No, there's no windows on the outside in the building. Not on that side anyway.
Must have been a ghost book.
It was so weird. It was
them ghost books that are falling down all the time.
I'm thinking Dr. Seuss is coming out.
When you said flying book, I literally imagined a book just flapping and flying by, and I was like, not the weirdest thing I've seen.
It was just so weird. It came out of nowhere. There was no one there. It was just this flying book.
Yeah, I seen it.
I tell you, that day that I saw the flying book, it was real. It was that one fish, two fish, catfish, bluefish book.
Please, one fish, two fish, catfish, dogfish.
Oh, that's it. I remember when I
that's
was
true.
a little kid,
The star guys, star belly sneeches. Yep, that's the one.
Yep,
That's
my favorite
it.
book. By Shel Silverstein.
By Edgar Allan Poe.
I'm pretty sure he helped it. It was like a collab or something.
Yeah, they collabed on that one.
Well, he helped me.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, get over my meth addiction.
Well, that's great, Zach. That's awesome.
You sounded so actually happy for it.
This episode, we're coming out with meth addiction.
Yeah, cut that part out. Seth will fix it in post.
Yeah. I'll fix everything in post. I'm cutting out the whole thing except for just the ending when I say, take us out, and then Ozra goes, bam, 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 and kills us all. Yeah. Anyways, hello, welcome to the second Storytime episode of Table Talk Friday. My name is Seth Pittman, and boy, have I got a story for you today. But first, a word from our sponsors. Ooh, that sucks. All right.
Burns a little bit.
How are you boys doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I was not killed by Dr. Seuss recently, so I'm good to go.
Yeah, it's been like 15 minutes since we recorded our last episode, and boy howdy, that Dr. Seuss episode was riveting.
Woo-wee.
Yep.
He's like a CR20, I'd imagine.
Who wants to go first for story time number 2? Because I've got mine kind of ready, but I don't really want to go first.
Funny you should ask! Because I would be happy to go first and spin you the yarn of the Feyholder.
Consider me spun.
The yarn of the Feyholder, I like it.
So, this is a recent story of our recent escapades in Descent into Avernus. In the well-known side story where the gang goes to the Feywild. Everyone remembers this part of the module, so I don't need to catch you up on the details. But just in case you're one of those few people who haven't heard, I'll give you the rundown. So this was it was actually spoiler alert. It wasn't a written part of the module, but Seth deemed for us to get this particular item that we needed to progress the story that we'd go on this side mission to the Feywild. So we go to the Feywild. We get there with the help of a Horizon Walker Ranger named Pan. She teleports us all to the Feywild, and then we end up there. Instantly, we find that the Feywild is just full of bad things.
Things.
So, surprisingly, we had an easier time in hell.
I mean, that's not a lie. So, yeah, you guys were in a very dangerous section of the Feywild. That's all I'll say
It was a
about
bad
that.
area. It was
Just a bad area, man.
Yeah, so anyway, Pan is basically our guide on this adventure. She knows that we have to go to this the Temple of Titania in order for us to find these urns of Phlegethosian sand that we need to return to build a dream machine. The details aren't important, but this is the purpose for our quest. So anyway, we head out. Instantly, we anger some treants, who we brutally murder, and some displacer beasts, who we brutally murder. We then find out that, maybe we shouldn't open every, encounter with violence. So we tone it back a little bit as we move forward. As we're going through the wilds, one of our characters, Varys is his name, played by our good friend Broccoli Eric. He is continuously wooing Pan, the female elf ranger that's leading us on this journey, and she's just not having it.
And he's great at it too.
Yeah. No, he's super charming. So anyway, he's giving us some we'll say a little creepy vibes.
I'm gonna go full send and say stalker vibes.
Yeah.
I was getting full on stalker vibes from him.
I mean, I would say it was like smooth as sandpaper. I'll give him that.
So in any case, the tensions are high in the party. We set up camp our first night in the Feywild, and everyone else sets up camp at our spot, and then, like the edgelord loner she is, Pan goes off on her own and says, I'll meet with you guys in the morning, don't follow me, that sort of thing. So who is to follow Pan into the woods but our good friend Varys? Anyway, there's a happy ending. She beats the shit out of him, and we fast forward to the next day.
Justice.
As we're continuing on our journey, we come upon this mountain range. I'll spare you the details of the whole adventure because it was a very fraught and dangerous place. But there were cyclopses mounted on giant birds throwing rocks at us, and Drew's character Pyth nearly died in that encounter, and he ended up getting kidnapped, so we had to chase after him and run up to the top of this mountain. We took a shortcut through a cave, and he ended up actually leaping from the top of this mountain through a geyser that ran through it, and we happened upon him in the bottom of this geyser in the cave as we were trying to desperately rush up to save him. Many close calls were had. He died nearly so many times, but he did not die.
I had a handle.
Or did he?
We'll get to that. So anyway, after this encounter, we finally we get Pyth back. Which my character Oswin, he's just overjoyed to finally have Pyth back. They sort of have like a stepdad surrogate father relationship sort of thing going on. So
Oswin's definitely a stepdad.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, now we know for certain that he is.
He's my real dad.
We'll probably talk about that at some point.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we finally we get out of this dangerous encounter, but we know. As we're going into the Crescent Forest to find this Titanian temple, that the place is infested with myconids, who are strangely hostile, and we're not exactly sure why. So we delve into this forest. We find just a bunch of these myconids, which are mushroom-like humanoids, and they're just immediately attacking us. Violent, bad things, no good. So we go through the forest. We take care of the myconids pretty easily. They're not that dangerous. But then we make it into the temple, and so this is a grave error. we'll say. So as we come into the first area of the temple, there are Myconids stationed outside, sort of to guard the place. We come in guns a-blazing, pow, pow, pow. All the Myconids are dead. No biggie. We go into this first chamber, and then immediately we find the Phlegethosian sand, which we needed to get. So, by all accounts, our journey was over. We could return home happily. But, as we were about to leave, we did find that there was another passage in this temple that goes to a spiral staircase that heads straight down. And this spiral staircase goes down maybe like 100 feet. And so, adventurers that we are, we know if there's one thing about dungeons, there's going to be some treasure inside.
And at this point, you guys don't know why the Myconids are acting weird.
No.
Now, you are not morally obligated to solve said scenario, but you're in a dungeon, you know?
But the loot.
You're adventurers.
Yeah, absolutely. And we did meet some fairies who did want to kill Pyth, but we brokered an arrangement with them. We came to peace. So if we would get the Myconids out of the forest, or at least, figure out what's causing them to be so hostile, and sort of, amend the situation, then bygones would be bygones. We'd, go our separate ways, leave the Feywild a better place than when we found it. So, anyways, adventurers that we are, we head down into the heart of this temple, just sort of to learn a little bit more, and Oswin is definitely thinking about treasure, but we do find some treasure when we get down to the bottom of the stairs. So we cross through the threshold into this long hallway that leads up to this room that's I recall it's
a wide open circular vaulted room with sconces on the wall lit with like all the different like technicolors,
Yeah, exactly.
All the colors of the rainbow.
And so directly in the center of this large chamber is just this massive ball with eyes and tentacles, or so one singular eye and then tentacle stalks that come out with eyes on the end of them as well. If you've played D&D or if you've seen anything D&D related, you probably know that this is a beholder. But what we don't know is that the Feywild has touched this beholder in ways that we were not prepared for. I should specify that we're level 7 at this point, so this is a very deadly encounter that we've stumbled upon.
No.
So anyway, long story short, the beholder has moves, and anytime you try and cast a spell in his chamber, and we still never figured out exactly what it is and how that works.
So I can tell you right now. Anytime you cast a spell in his eye cone, instead of your spell being immediately countered, instead what would happen is your spell would give off a random wild magic effect.
Yep. So our mages completely useless. We've got 2.5 mages.
And this was from a table I found online too. It's from a way cooler table than the table that's in the wild magic sorcerer stuff.
Yeah. So anyway, when ever we're casting spells, there's a chance that just something terribly wrong will happen, or something possibly useful could happen. We're not entirely sure. So we walk into this room. This guy is instantly angry at us for invading his home, and he even foresaw that we would be coming, so he knew that we'd show up. He, as I recall, was a bit of a poet.
Yes.
So strewn about the room are, scrolls and parchment, and then ink. And this beholder, he doesn't have hands, but he is lifting the
telekinetically.
Yeah,
yes.
Telekinetically writing this poetry. And as we step into the room, he has this whole speech prepared that Seth did very well at reciting for us. In any case, we're all sort of shitting bricks at this point, but the beholder also has, a pair of spectacles and a robe.
Yes.
And we can see towards the back of the room, there are signs of treasure. So, gallantly and stupidly, we run into combat. Our fighter, who should be carrying this fight for us, as he's so much more powerful than all of us, keeps getting charmed to the point where he can't do anything
To his best friend.
Yeah, to his best friend, the Beholder.
Please, the Feyholder.
Yeah, and Oswin's really not doing very well either. I think he misses most of his shots that he's shooting at him with his crossbow. I think we hit him maybe once. The room is also filled with Myconids who are just overwhelming us.
They're just bullet sponges.
Yeah.
Honestly, they're not doing damage, but they're not not dying.
Yeah, exactly. And we weren't able to get past them into the room with the Beholder. So we quickly realized that, this encounter that we thought we might be able to handle, because we're really good at D&D, is about to turn deadly very quickly. And that's exactly what happens. So Pan is still with us. She tries to cast haste, I believe, and instead turns into a potted plant.
That was funny.
Yep. And then due to the wild magic effect, if you're keeping up, and then Pyth, the hero that he is, Drew's character, he runs in front of Pan to protect her from any eye lasers that might be coming at us at this exact moment. Seth rolls a die. We look at him. He looks at us. It's not good. There's that moment of acknowledgement at the table where everyone realizes, this is bad. And then, did you even roll dice for that? I don't remember. Or is it just
I definitely rolled dice for that.
Yeah, so we.
I rolled it. I think it was pretty close too, wasn't it? If I'm not wrong,
I think it was like 10 to 20 points over. It was pretty close.
It was pretty close. So if you guys don't know, a Beholder has a very powerful death ray type of effect that it can give off from one of its eye stalks. Now, it's completely random for which eye stalks you get each time, and I was getting pretty much the harmless ones the whole time. And so they weren't taking a lot of damage either, but no one was dealing damage to each other really until you can continue, Zach.
Yeah. So Seth pulls out his dice roller app, which means that there's too many dice for Seth to reasonably count, which means we know it's bad. So Seth pulls out the app, he does the calculation, he looks over, and then describes in decent detail this purplish, blackish, necrotic ray fires out of the Beholder's eye and zooms past all of us and straight into Pyth, who takes the brunt of the damage and is, he falls back for maybe just a moment and then instantly drops dead. Pyth had not been touched in this fight, and that laser just annihilates him. And then in this moment we realize, we're fucked. So the Beholder sort of susses out the situation. He realizes, they've pretty much gotten through my Myconids, so if this fight continues on too much longer, I might take some damage. So instead of allowing that to happen, he sort of realizes, you guys are defeated, and there's no planet on which you can beat me. So he says, I'll let you go, and don't come back, because he's just that cocky. And I took that personally. so anyway, we have a very somber moment where we bring Pyth, his dead body, back up into the temple, and Oswin. A special thing about him is he does have a devil that he is bound to, who lives in a shield that he has. So this devil,
it's a little quirk, know?
Yeah.
It's a little quirk. I sold my soul.
A little me.
Yeah. Well, so when in hell, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, the
devils do.
Yeah, the devil speaks to Pyth in his dying moments and speaks to his soul and basically offers, if you will sell your soul to me, I will return you to life. And Pyth is just a morally upstanding character, very much not like Oswin. And so when presented with this offer, he says, no. Okay. But in this somber moment, while we drag Pyth's lifeless body out of the chamber and back up the stairs and then into the temple, Oswin hears the voice of Gargouth as well in the back of his mind, and he says, if you sacrifice your will to me, and every decision that you make from now on is bound to me. Basically, the arrangement has gotten a lot more serious, whereas before we had sort of an agreement that I will get him out of this shield if he bees my cool shield. All of a sudden, now I'm sort of in a pact for life situation, but he does say that if I give my soul to him, he will restore Pythe's life. So, doing something that Zach would never do, Oswin says, well, yes, for my boy, I will sacrifice my soul. So, Pythe, so Pythe is returned to life. Anyway, it's just a real downer to the end of the session, but Pythe is alive, which is nice. Anyway, this all is very interesting. It is not why I brought up this story, because there's a part 2. So, and I just want to talk to you about maybe the greatest revenge story that's ever existed in D&D.
But to hear about it, you have to tune in next episode.
No!
I will
And that's where we're gonna end this week, boys.
No. So, as a preface to this second part, we ended the session there. We had to come back next week. Over the week, while I'm thinking about, Pythe just died. We are not leaving this place while that thing is still in there. We know for a fact now that it's controlling the Myconids. We need to get rid of this thing in order to fulfill our goal, and I want treasure. So we're gonna do this, whether no one else wants to or not. There is a fairly well-known mechanic in D&D where if you take a extra dimensional space, like a bag of holding, where if you put something in it, it's like way bigger on the inside than it is on the outside.
Like a pocket dimension.
Yeah, you can think of it like Santa's sack in a lot
Mary Poppins' bag.
Yeah, Mary Poppins' bag, exactly. Bags of holding. So Oswin has one of those, but he also has the ability to create another. So he's an artificer. This is one of the biggest things that I love about the artificer class, is sort of this freedom to mess with magic items and pull some of the BS that your DM wouldn't necessarily allow you to get away with. So, a fairly well-known mechanic about bags of holding is if you stick one inside of another, since they're both pocket dimensions, putting one inside of another rips a tear in space and time and sucks everything within 10 feet straight to the astral plane. You do not get to make a saving throw against this. There is no effect to stop this from happening. So if a bag of holding goes inside of another bag of holding and you're within 10 feet of that, you're going to space, my guy. So, this is terrific news. As
You just so happen to have 2 bags of holding.
Yep. So I use one of my artificer infusions to make a bag of holding. We return to the next session, and I float my plan by everyone. Everyone says, no, Oswin, it's too risky. We're going home with our tails between our legs. And I said, no, guys, it's going to be really cool, I swear. As an artificer, I'm the battlesmith class, so I have my steel defender that follows me. It's basically a robot under my command. He does whatever I want him to. So I go over to my steel defender. His name is Stein. I say, Stein, take this bag, take this other bag, hold on to him for me. So I finally convinced the party, it's going to be really cool, I swear. Let's go back one more time. I swear we're not going to die. And we eventually agreed. And of course, in character, we also determine, okay, well, does Oswin know how this works? He's got 20 intelligence. We'll make a couple checks. Oswin and Pythe both talk to each other. Pythe's a wizard, so we figure out how to do it in world, of course, so it all makes sense. But we return to the Titanian Temple. There are Myconids surrounding the place. This time, many more than before, because the Feyholder foresaw that we were going to do this, and so he was very prepared for what we were about to try and pull off. So, what we did, I want to say it was Pyth, you cast invisibility on Stein, and our other mage, Hakili, cast haste. We do this all pretty much in one turn. We send Stein in while he's invisible. None of the Myconids can see him, and he's going just so fast. Oh, we also cast fly on him.
Yes.
So I must have
There's
cast
a lot of spells
invisibility. Yeah, I cast invisibility. Pyth cast fly, and then Hakili cast haste. So this man is a rocket ship, an invisible rocket ship with a nuclear bomb in his hands.
A 10-foot nuclear bomb.
Yep. And we send him in. So within the span of a turn, basically we're afraid, okay, if the Beholder gets to actually do anything, it might spell the end of Stein, and then we just wasted. I'm not even entirely sure if Beholders can see through invisibility, but I bet that's something that they could do. Their whole thing is eyes. So anyway, we didn't want to be caught with our pants down, and we only really had one shot at this. If Stein fails, we lose 2 bags of holding and my cool ass robot. So it better be worth it. So anyway, we send Stein in. And ultimately, this is a suicide mission because he has to stick 1 bag of holding inside of the other bag of holding for this effect to go off, and he's got to be there, so he's also going to space. But it's okay, I can build another one. So anyway, we get all this prep together, we send Stein down the stairs, he flies at Mach speed straight into the Feyholder, shoves the bag of holding inside the other bag of holding, and he's gone.
But you guys didn't know that yet.
No. So then we had to slowly but surely. So first thing we noticed was the Myconids.
Their skin changed from red to like a yellowish brownish color, back to like a natural mushroom looking color.
Mm-hmm. And they started to chill out. And
yeah,
then
they were super zooted, dude.
Mm-hmm.
They were chilling.
Yeah. So the funny flavor of Myconids is they're a little.
High on their own supply.
Yeah. They're coded that way in the book too. So anyway, they were all chilling out, and then we went down and we found no Feyholder, no Stein. It worked. So anyway, we loot his chamber, and he doesn't really have that many magic items, but just the vindication is unreasonably great for me. So I know a lot of players imagine, okay, well, what if we stuck a bag of holding inside of another bag of holding? But I think I kind of broke the game because I can make another bag of holding, and I can stick another bag of holding in that bag of holding, and I'm just saying, maybe Zariel's going to space next. Who's to say?
Well, you know why we wouldn't do it again, right? Because what else got sucked into the hole? All of the loot. All of the good treasure and loot.
That's true. That is very true. So you did lose some magic items there. I did show them what they were in the post credit scene after this movie was over. But I mean, no, it was a very good plan. I am, as a DM, someone who is I'd say I'm part of the rule of cool. You know, if you go in with a really cool lit idea, even if the rules don't quite fit it as well as they should, I'm still gonna let it happen because I think it's super cool. And everybody seemed very excited that after this thing actually killed the son of the party, that, you know, they got a little bit of vindication. They were the Avengers for a session.
What a cool session that was.
That was a cool session.
And then we didn't have to leave the Feywild and be sad that we lost.
that you lost and all you got was the item you needed.
Yeah, because otherwise we sucked.
Well, and
everything else.
You know, and that wasn't an encounter like... I explained it to you guys after. I never expected you to, you know, go in and slaughter this thing. Oftentimes, you guys get to go to a boss fight that I prepared and just ream them. Take them out in a couple, like 2 or 3 rounds. No one's close to death. You still have a decent supply of spells on your hands. So, I prepared an optional encounter to which you don't have to be here. You have what you needed. You do not have to go through this thing whatsoever. A retreat is fully optional. So I prepped an encounter that was way too hard, just to see what would happen. And it was fun. It created a scenario that honestly set us up for the next 10 sessions of Avernus.
I'm going to be real, Seth. I mean, it wasn't really optional. Like, we had to go in there.
But you didn't have to stay.
But the
and
loot,
you didn't have
except there was loot. We needed the
I
loot.
expected you to go see it, yes. But once you found out what you were up against, I did not expect a full encounter. Yeah, but there was definitely loot. There was a lot going on there. No,
DM.
yeah. What?
I mean, DM.
Yeah. I was a mean DM for a session. You know,
Yeah.
you guys get to see me be cool all the time, but I pulled up that edgy cowl and put something difficult in your path. And it was me trying something new as a DM too. I wanted to see what an optional encounter like that was like for us. It's something I never really tried before. Being like, okay, I'm gonna prep something that they should not be able to fight here, and against all odds, it's staying here. You guys don't have to be with it here.
Yeah, and against all odds, we did find a way to deal with it.
You did find a way to deal with it with a really creative solution, and everybody lived.
Kinda.
Yeah, kinda.
And the funniest thing is, you're right, it was optional, and we came back and did it twice.
You chose to do my encounter twice. I mean, there you go.
Just needed more of it the second time.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get on to another story then. That was a good one. I think you told it rather well, Zach. I think we got a lot of good descriptors out of that.
Thank you. Pat me on the back more, please.
There you go, Zach.
Thank you.
Drew, would you like to go next? You haven't gotten to say too much.
I will go in with my story. So,
This is personally
yeah.
one of my favorite stories as well, so I'm glad you're about to tell it.
I don't have a title.
It's a
for
proud,
the story,
it's a
but-
proud lazy DM moment of mine.
And I think similar to the last one, it was a great session because it's
Zach
all
was
about me.
there. Oh, sorry. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I guess to start off, I'll give you a little bit of background behind my character. Eknon Greylock is at the time, I'm not sure what level he was, but he was an inquisitive rogue. So he's very sleuthy, very sneaky, very wise. He knows what to look for when he's fighting bad guys. He finds all their weak spots. He had a really cool bow. He actually had a really cool metal bow with a revolving attachment on the side that he could rotate and add different vials of liquid onto his arrows before they fired to have different kinds of effects. So he was basically the coolest character you can think of. So, so he starts off in his hometown of Nightstone on the Sword Coast. And he lived there for a long period of time with his family. And he always called it his town because him and his family had been there for a long period of time. They were prominent members of the community because they owned a business called Greylock Co. Last name was Greylock Co. And it was all about selling security. So they sold padlocks and small amounts of cell swords and weaponry, things like that. Anything you would use to secure a home or anything like that if you needed it for perhaps like a caravan, that sort of thing. So that being said, his mother and his father lived there, Yanare and Akvir. His dad actually ends up passing away in the very beginning of the campaign, so it gives a little bit of context to the story. So the only member of his family he has left that he loves very much so is his mother, Yanare. So we jump forward a little bit in time now. Eknon has been kicked out of the town for some shady dealings that was going on in the town, but it wasn't actually his fault. He was framed for it. So he ended up rallying a few adventurers together, the rest of the party, to get back into the town and clear his name so he could take back his spot in the town as a normal person that just runs a business that he totally thinks he owns. So they end up going back. Basically, the town ends up getting destroyed by some, I won't say what enemies they were, because I feel like it is a little bit of a spoiler to part of the campaign. But
I would say that the way that we handled it and the way that it was in there is not in any way part of the module. So please go ahead.
Okay, well, if that's the case, the town was utterly destroyed by some giants that flew over and just dropped boulders all over the town. So buildings were destroyed, people were killed. It was bad. The whole place was razed. And basically we kind of took it back. We ended up helping some people, but overall it was taken over by a group of people known as the Zenrim. So they're these awful sellswords. They're mean and rude, and they just want to take your town, and they're just awful people. Don't ever trust them. But so they took over the town to use as their base of operations. It wasn't anything crazy at the time. There were some people that were allowed to stay there a little bit. It wasn't atrociously bad. So we jump forward a little bit more forward in time, and I'm writing my mother a letter under the this awful reign of the Zenerim, and she basically, I get a letter back at the post office saying that my mother has been captured by one of the Zenerim leaders.
I would like to step in here because the way that this whole planning thing went down is the party had a mission at the time.
It didn't matter,
and you were all going on it, and I had a couple little character pieces prepared for each person. One of them being that one day Eknon may stop off at a post office and he'll get this mission, and I expect him to complete it after his current task. This was in the infancy of my DMing, you know. This is the first half of Storm Kings. I'm just getting used to you guys, you know, after 5 or 6 months of playing, and I was not expecting you to go to immediately be like, oh my god, I have to do 2 days travel right now straight to Nightstone.
It was my mom said.
I understand everything, but I just want the audience to realize that everything that happened beyond this point was completely like, all right, I got to come up with a full D&D session off the top of my head. Okay, here we go. This is what D&D's all about, baby. Continue, please.
So, just another example of why Seth's a really mean DM. He always wants to kill you. He always wants to take your family away. He's just really mean. Don't play for him. Play for Zach instead. But, so I get this letter, right? And it's basically saying that my mother has been taken hostage and that we have to come back to Nightstone or else she'll be killed. And the reason we got this letter is because we had been messing with the Zenerim in the area. We had been fighting them, we'd been getting into little scuffles and ruining their plots and plans and things like that. So they were pissed that we were messing with them. So on the fly and on the cuff, we decided we have to go back and save my mother because she's my mom. I love my mom. And so we go to Nightstone, and the plan was that I had to go in essentially alone in order to get into the town, because they were looking for me specifically as like a hostage. We have leverage over you kind of a vibe. So the rest of our party was either invisible or hiding nearby at the time. So we ride up to this town. We walk up, and for a little bit of context, Nightstone is actually surrounded by a little bit of a moat.
A moat, yeah.
And so there's this big old drawbridge, which is super cool at the front. I believe there might have been 2 different gates, but either way, we were going up to this drawbridge to get in. So I walk up to the front of the drawbridge. The rest of the party is hiding behind the hills or invisible or just getting ready for some kind of assault to see how we have to get my mother out of this. So I step up, and there are people at the top of the wall shouting down and ordering Eknon to put down his weapon, take off his armor, and they were going to take him into the dungeon where he would be able to see his mother. So that was the deal. You take off your armor, you take off your weapons, put everything down, we'll take you in, you can see your mother. So Eknon does it. He takes off his leather armor. I think he had studded leather at the time. He puts down his super cool bow and his rapier. He puts it all down, and they start lowering the drawbridge. But as they lower the drawbridge, it smacks down to the bottom, and there was a ton of Zenerim fighters on the other side of the drawbridge that immediately unleashed a volley of arrows at Eknon as he's standing there on the other side of this bridge. So he's taking the dodge action at this point because he suspects this little fishy. So only a couple of the arrows hit him. He gets littered by these, and he jumps into the moat underneath the drawbridge to avoid the rest of the shots at this point. He's no armor, no weapons. The rest of the crew starts running in, and we get into this big epic battle that was super cool with the Zenerim on the inside of the Nightstone going across the drawbridge. It was super cool. There were people, I believe, in some towers shooting at us as well. And we're actually missing one of the party members at this point, so it was like, oh god, what do we do? We're fighting this big, heavy group of people.
Well, yeah, I mean, Morwen had a theater rehearsal.
Which was very, very important.
Well,
very important.
Yeah, Morwen would have loved to come rescue your mother, but yeah, he was at theater rehearsal in Waterdeep. And you know, he didn't even stick around for the play, so I don't know why he couldn't have just showed up for the session.
So the battle ensues, and we're fighting, and arrows are flying everywhere, swords are being slashed, and eventually we take down most of the enemies in the main area. So we know where my mother is, but the leader is not out here. So we have to go find her. So we go over to the keep, and we start going into the keep and working our way down. There was a little bit of a dungeon area underneath where there were like some prisons and some cells you can keep people in. So we work our way down. But when we get to the bottom, there's one more group of Zenarim. There's the leader of the Zenarim, which I believe his name was Zolkin.
Not the leader of the Zenarim, the leader of this sect of the Zenarims called the Seven Snakes.
They're all the same. They're all mean. They're all meanie heads. So he's there with my mother in front of him at a knife point. So he's going to kill my mother basically right in front of me. There's a number of other evil minions around him taking aim at us. And he says that basically I need to surrender or he's going to kill my mother right here, right now. So I can't surrender. I know he's going to shoot at me. There's no way. He's already tried to double cross me once. So it gets really intense. We go into a little bit of almost like a skill challenge kind of a vibe. Basically, I tell Seth, look, I want to shoot him with a paralysis arrow that I have. So I want to stun him and get my mother back before anything happens. So we know there's not a great chance it's going to work. So I draw my bow super fast so that he doesn't get much of a shot.
Right, so they both had to make an initiative check.
We both make an initiative check to see who goes first. I made it. Not by much, but I made it. So I got to go first. Now comes the next step. My mother is standing in front of the leader here with the knife at her. So he's got like 3/4 cover, half cover, something like that.
You have to hit.
I have to hit, otherwise I kill my mother, which is insane. So the stakes being super high. I roll the die. I think it was like a 24.
You rolled well over
25.
20. I remember that specifically.
It was insane roll. We're flipping out. We're like screaming around the table. I'm flipping crap right now. So I nail him. But now, as he gets hit with this arrow, he has to make a save to see if he's paralyzed or not. So he makes the save and fails it.
By one.
It was psychotic. We're going nuts this one. I'm flipping out. I felt like I wanted to cry. There was so much stress going on at this point. So he's paralyzed at this point. Now, as he's paralyzed, there's other arrows flying around because the minions are shooting too. She pushes off of him and starts running towards us. Our bard in the party at the time uses one of his special bard abilities that gave her temporary hit points and some extra movement as a reaction. So with those extra temp hit points, it actually saved her, as in the next turn, one of the minions had shot her in the back, and she lived because she had those temp hit points.
She lived with 4 hit points left.
So barely alive at this point. She's running towards us. We pull her in the back. We get into this big fight where we end up killing all of the minions, and it comes down to just the leader. Just Zolkin, the asshole right there. So basically, he throws his weapons down. And I give him an ultimatum. I say, you know what? We don't need to kill you. I've saved my mom now. I'm going to make a deal with you. If you take off your armor, and you put down all your weapons, everything you have, we'll take you to the dungeon. Just like you promised me. So he puts it all down, he takes off his armor, all that, and we escort him down to one of the last cells. And we put him in there. I lock up the cell. I go, oh, you know what? You didn't follow through with your bargain, did you? You tricked me last time. I put down all of my things and everything you said, but you still shot at me. So I look around at my party members and I pass out what we had at the time, which was like javelins, and I think someone was firebolting our wizard. I pulled up my bow and I said, on your marks. And our entire party littered him through the cell and finished him off in like this final act of awesome dramatic justice. And it was awesome. It was so cool, so stressful, and it was all about me. So I loved every bit of that session.
And Morwen did show up right at the very last moment, right as Eknon's giving his dramatic speech. Morwen walks in with his script and says, I just couldn't stay at rehearsal. So I was
that
there
was
for, like, the
that
last
was a
5
very
minutes.
proud moment for me because that was so cinematic, and I was like, oh, I didn't have to plan any of this. Oh yes, and I mean, luckily I remembered the layout of Nightstone and the layout of the keep in Nightstone, so all of that was true to the book. But man, that was.
I'm heated right now.
I know. I'm saying, like,
right
I
now.
feel the chills right now from that. Oh, it was so much fun.
It was so intense. Oh my gosh. I'm so glad Zach wasn't there to see it. Not take any of my
Yeah,
thunder.
all the sessions are great when Zach's not in them.
Yeah!
Get out of here, Zach.
Yeah!
All right. we have gone long in this episode, but I do have one final story for us, and I'll try to keep it a little briefer. I feel like your two stories were much more cinematic and cool than this one was, but I think it's a decently interesting experience that we all shared.
Agreed.
So this was along those same lines. This is related to Drew's story, actually, because it actually set Drew's story in motion, which is the time that we played a D&D session over text.
I forgot about this.
A little bit of background. I was working at Carowinds at the time. We had weekly scheduled sessions, but we were just about to go on winter break for college, meaning that I was starting my winter break job, which was a sound engineer at Carowinds, an amusement park in North Carolina. Music major, this is kind of the dream thing to be doing on your breaks, is to, actually have a job related to your field. So I had to go back and forth to the park, but we were on a time crunch, is how I felt about the campaign. I felt like I have to finish Storm King's Thunder in 1 year of college, meaning in 30 to 40 sessions, this campaign needs to wrap up, needs to be done. So I'm kind of rushing it through. Later along the lines, I did end up changing that philosophy. Ended up being like, no, let's run it next year too. Let's go full 2-year sessions of the game. I think we ended up with like 50 to 60 sessions of the game total.
Yeah.
Which, ended up being an awesome experience for all of us. But that has nothing to do with this story. I was on a time crunch, and we were missing today's session because I was in Charlotte, North Carolina. So that means that we are, instead of skipping the session altogether, the party is doing a lot of travel right now. They just finished fighting some frost giants far up in Bryn Shander, and they need to make it down to, I believe, Neverwinter was where you were heading, to meet a contact of the Lord's Alliance. Was it the Lord's Alliance or the Gauntlet? Order of the Gauntlet. Yeah, and a contact from the Order of the Gauntlet. So you guys need to get to Neverwinter to meet your contact from the Order of the Gauntlet, which is very, very far away. I believe you get there, you end up speaking with him, and that's where we left off on our previous session in person, is after you finish speaking to this contact. So you start heading from north to south, far down to Waterdeep for your next leg of the mission. On your way there, I start the text session. I say, hey guys, can we just play over text today? I'd like to see how we do. I know we've never done this before, but instead of having official combat, let's do a little bit of an impromptu session over text. Is everyone available right now? Or for the rest of the night, can we have some decisions being made? Everyone said yes. So what I start doing while I'm in between running shows at Carowinds is I start typing out long passages of text. Now, typically at a show at Carowinds, we'd have 30 minutes of downtime. So I had time to, get out, walk around, type out passages, and respond to questions from my friends. And we start doing so. You guys are traveling south. You happen across a group of travelers on a cart that is passing by you as you're walking. And as you're doing so, you notice that they have a familiar emblem on their robes, that of which is the Zentarim. One of your party members also happens to be a member of the Zentarim, to which you've known for a long time. At this point, you're not that familiar with them. You know that they're on the shadier side, but more of the sellsword mercenary side, not really the criminal charlatan type of side. They tell you that they are searching currently for a bronze dragon who has been harassing their carts along the I forgot the name of the road. The high road. The high road.
High road.
So a bronze dragon has been harassing their carts along the high road, and you guys and they're looking for him. They want to take him out. And you guys think, well, we're looking for some work, along the way. Why not help out some friends of our friend? Winston's happy to see some Zentarim members. You guys are happy to help some friends.
I'm thrilled.
And you all get together and start, looking. You hear he's in the area, so within a few hours, you feel like you might be able to find this bronze dragon. And you do so as this entire encounter starts up with this bronze dragon come steamrolling through the trees. As he crash lands directly through the Zentarim cart. They all start drawing their weapons. You all start drawing yours, and the dragon gives you guys a choice. he says, basically to you, you guys look kind of friendly. I'm not trying to hurt you, but these guys are after me. I'm the good guy here. And that's, simplifying it a little bit. I had a long passage typed out to which I don't have available to me right now. But you guys are caught in between a rock and a hard place. He kind of tells you that those guys are the bad guys. I'm the good guy, and you guys are under a different impression. And Winston in the middle is like, you guys can kind of tell the Bronze Dragon is correct. From your history, knowing about these things, they're typically on the side of good. While they are on the more chaotic side, they may they're not usually evil. They're not usually bad. They're not doing anything mischievous and horrible to anybody. So he has to have a good reason for his actions, is what you would think.
And we also knew the Zentarim to be morally dubious, at least. And our friend Winston, played, of course, by Kilometer Eric, was just very...
Kilometer Eric?
Yes.
Yeah. Kilometer Eric. I don't know why I have to explain this to you. We knew them to be sort of... just a little suspicious, morally speaking.
Exactly.
Talking about, let's rob their corpses and murder these people. So that seemed a little odd.
Yeah, and so at this point, you guys were like, well, let's try to just stop the conflict. Let's let everybody talk here. To which Mormon does a very good job of casting calm emotions on everyone. A couple of the guys calmed down, but it seems as though the leader and a couple of the other minions that did make their saves are still intent on killing this Bronze Dragon. And the Bronze Dragon is gonna wipe the floor with these guys. It's apparent from the beginning that this thing is gonna ream these Zentarim guys' asses. And you guys don't really want to be a part of that. So Mormon tries his best to calm the situation down. I make a few checks on my phone. The players are rolling things in person and wherever they are. And we have a few checks to go over text, which I trust my players. I know they're going to be truthful with me, and I trust myself because I did it.
I cheat all the time. All the time.
Yeah, I see it too in person. I watch you say a different number, and I go, classic Drew.
That's why I die all the time.
So the combat does ensue after this calm emotions, and instead of running a typical combat, I run up to this person, I make an attack, and we have rolls back and forth, damage back and forth. I make this a cinematic, scripted movie scene based on the choices that you make. So this person says they're going after this person. This person says they're going after this person. I ask each individual player what they choose to do in this combat and then narrate it, which may seem a little bit railroady, but we were on a time crunch. So this is a side thing. We'll worry about it later.
Well, we were also over text, and everyone was doing other things at the same time.
Exactly.
This was happening over the course of maybe 5 or 6 hours.
Yeah, this was a long while. So, this whole huge scene happens where there were a couple of general guards Zentarim. They were just soldiers. There was a wizard, a mage Zentarim guy, and then there was a more fighter-esque dwarven female Zentarim woman. She ends up going toe-to-toe with Felgalos as this Bronze Dragon swoops down. I just gave up his name, but whatever. The Bronze Dragon swoops down against her and does a Charizard against Articuno seismic toss and tosses her against the ground. That's a little Pokemon lore for you if you were wondering about that. But he seismic tosses this dwarven woman into the ground. She's deceased immediately. The party managed to take on these other Zentarim folks, and the mage is like, oh shoot, these adventurers are all teaming up against us. I got a GTFO right now. He turns invisible and manages to retreat. But this entire time, Winston has not made a move. No decision has been made, as Winston was a red dragonborn, very Deadpool-esque type of character, wields 2 scimitars. I believe it was 2 short swords.
Short swords.
Wields 2 short swords, has sort of those voices going on in his head, sometimes has a little fourth wall type deal going on. But overall, he uses this this voices in the head tactic to get out of the situation, not have to make a moral decision. But, the party didn't take too kind to that, and neither did the Zentarim. He kind of got the worst end of 2 situations. And this is the point where the text session itself ends, as the bronze dragon lands and begins to speak to the party. The text session ends. But I don't want to end it there. Because fallout from this happens for sessions and sessions to come. The party does make it to Waterdeep with their newfound friend Felgalos, the bronze dragon, who I feel we will mention in numerous stories in the future. He became a dear friend of the party for the entirety of the campaign, all the way through to the final session of the campaign, and he was still around and kicking there at the end. So, needless to say, this was a very iconic character for us, and he is from a DM's Guild module that I picked up as a little addition to Storm King. So if you end up finding that, it's a great addition to the campaign. He has a little side quest that goes along with it all, but the party head to Waterdeep next. Felgalos gives them a little mission. It says, hey, meet me here if you'd like to do it. I'll be at my lair. Just head to this area, and I'll be flying around probably during the day. And they do that later on. But when they get to Waterdeep, Winston is kidnapped in the middle of the day. Pulled to the side and taken, and nobody really knows where he went. One of the head honchos of the Zenturium, this half-orc fellow with an eye patch, is speaking to Winston and says, you have an ultimatum here. You stay here. You are D-ranked. You are back to grunt level, and you stay with us, and you work with us. Or you go with your little adventuring party, and I like you, so I'll let you go for now, but you've made an enemy of us, and next time we see you, it's not going to be on good terms. And Winston makes his decision. He stays in Waterdeep for the long haul. And all of this leads up to the Zenturium eventually coming back. Eventually, Egnon finds out they overtook his home, and he goes and saves it. And finally, there is a big face-off with Winston later in the campaign where Daleth, Winston's best friend, Daleth was a blue dragonborn, Winston was a red dragonborn. They became fast friends in the campaign. And later on, Winston does end up, or the Zenturium do end up, not by accident, but a little bit by accident, assassinating Daleth's mother.
It was not by accident to attack, but they were trying to kill Daleth.
They were trying to kill Daleth, and Daleth's mother, who was also an adventurer, ended up saving him. And Daleth goes crazy. I mean, as one would whenever their mother is lost. He knows that the only surviving member of this assassination group, or of this group of the Zenturium, is Winston, and he knows where Winston's headed, straight to the Lord's Alliance to be put in jail.
Of course, mentioning that Morwyn was the one that faced off against Winston, and wiped up the floor with him, but spared his life, of course, because we had history.
Correct. They had history. Winston didn't really deserve to die there. Morwyn deemed so. So Daleth goes wild. He flies to the hall of the Lord's Alliance, finds that Winston is now being taken inside, and stops the guard, says he has orders to take Winston with him. The guards say, no, you fucking don't. We have orders straight from the top to take Winston here. We know what we're doing. And Daleth doesn't take kindly to that. He does manage to convince the guards to let him come in with, to which he turns Winston around in one act of grace and casts Disintegrate on him. Winston turns to dust, as he only has 7 hit points or so left. Disintegrate turns Winston to dust, and Daleth is arrested for the murder.
Oh, that's so heavy. It was so heavy when that happened.
Oh, that was insane. Yeah, no, and that all led from that text session was because that wizard who flew away invisibly was the one who could notify about this. He made it to Waterdeep with his invisibility spell, successfully getting away from you guys, informed everyone of what happened, and now you guys are on the eye of the Zenturium now from now on.
Yeah, and we did get attacked by them a couple more times, didn't we?
Yes, you almost got assassinated and barged right in.
Yep.
I believe you were noticed by them in the Dungeon of the Mad Mage at some point.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because they had a little thing going on down there.
Yeah, so you guys were noticed by them in the Dungeon of the Mad Mage, and there were a couple other instances in which you would run into a member or two. They were a long-standing villain, and you guys never really got to wrap that up. So
yeah, well, and early on, Winston and my character Morwen were sort of the budding rivals. I was definitely trying to warm them up to the group of us. Like, hey,
exactly.
we're team members, right? Oh, you're a fighter. I'm a paladin. We sort of do like some of the same things.
Yeah, we like both hit things really hard.
Yeah, like I'll tank if you attack.
Let's be honest though, Morwen was always a little stronger.
Oh well, starting from the beginning, I'd say Winston was probably.
Being able to do 2 attacks, an offhand attack and stuff, that was pretty nice. But like, I don't know, I think the Paladin is a pretty cool fighter just because of the the Divine Smite and stuff. But from the very beginning, I get what you mean.
Yeah. Well, because I also took at the start, I was mostly a sorcerer too.
Yeah.
I always forget you were a sorcerer. I always think you just Morwen's righteous and powerful paladin kind of.
Not Divine Soul Sorcerer, baby.
Yep. But anyway, any closing thoughts, boys, on these events? I'm sure you all will hear more about Morwen and our whole adventure. And we didn't even mention once by name Beryl.
Beryl didn't really come up in these as much though. Like these
No.
stories weren't particularly related to him, but I got some Beryl stories ready to go. So.
Yeah. But that was our adventuring party's name was Beryl and the Giant's Bane.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us this week. As I usually say, please write into the show if you have anything you'd like to question, any comments, if you have your own D&D stories that you'd like to tell. We'd be happy to read through them in a couple of segments or episodes. Other than that, I'm just going to leave it straight to the character. He'll let you know about, Twitter and social media and all the other things that we're up to. So, character, over to you.
Back at you, Seth.
Thank you for listening to TableTalk Friday. For more D&D content, follow these humans on Twitter at TableTalk Friday and be one of the first to write into the show by sending in your questions and episode suggestions. Send these inquiries to TableTalkFriday@gmail.com. And last but not least, come back next Friday for another episode. Thank you.